I'll start with XRP, and I'm just going to start with the fibs and just point out something that could be clearly showing the pump up, the break up rather than the breakdown. So this is on the daily, and just a little. The previous step here before this, yeah, just to show you, yeah. If I put it on the impulse from there, from top to bottom, you can see the play along the 618 and then the drop down to the 1272, yeah. And then it danced along. It danced along back up to the 786, back down, back up to the 786 again. So you can see actually the golden pocket. You see the rejection, golden pocket, back to 786. So you can see the really what I'm trying to say is that from this here, the measure, it came all the way down to the 272. That's really what I want to point out, yeah. So when we're looking at the breakdown from this, it came down as far as the 1272. That's what I'm trying to say. So if we were looking at the breakdown again in this from the same manner, is you take the top here to the bottom here, and you start looking at the 1272, and it takes you down to 25.26. And again, if I wanted to go further, this broke a little bit. This broke a little bit below 25 or the 1272, 24 and a half. Yeah, and again, there's lower targets if it kept going. But the thing I really want to point out is the case for the pump is you can see here's the bottom here. You can see the 786 the way it bobbed along here before it came down. Back up again to the 236, back down to the 786. You can see it bob along, back up here, back down again. So this is what I'm going to point out. Here's the bottom. Here's the bottom. Now, when I put a line right across there, is look what it didn't break. You can see that it didn't break this bottom. Excuse me. So you can see it potentially is setting up what you call that again? My mind's gone blank.
Doubling?
A triple bottom. Excuse me. My mind's gone blank. Sorry. A W as well, but a triple bottom. So with this, with what's going on here now is the question is that has this bottomed out and it's heading back up, or is it a retrace to push back down? And that's the question. So if it's going to bounce back, we'd want to see, look, 32, 36. If it starts breaking above the 702 here and not coming back down, it looks like it's heading back up to the 05 at 34.88, and that's a strong signal that we could be in for a pump up rather than a drop down. Yeah. Again, we'd have to see when it does its retrace up here, the consequences, which I'm going to show you now. Yeah. So now, if I use another fib here and put it at the bottom here to the top here, because this will be this is the impulse down. So we use this space to measure the lift up, and again the 786, which XRP really loves at the moment, is back up at 34.81. Fits the 05 mark. Yeah. Excuse me. It fits the 05 mark. So if we do have that lift up to here, it's very much leaving the door open for a pump. Yeah. And again, the decider space seems to be around the golden pocket again. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Is I'm going to put the fib from the bottom, or from the top to the bottom here. Okay, and yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, and again, I'm looking at the top to the bottom here, and again, you can see the it's bouncing back up to the 786 at 31.74. This is just locally, yeah. So again, either I believe it's either going to get a rejection here and come down further, or if it starts to break through this again, I think we're heading up to 34 and a half, 34.8, yeah. So that's what it looks like. So my other TA would support that. Now, because I'm looking at the head and shoulders here, because I showed you what I showed you at this level, I changed the level of the head and shoulders. I did have it at a little bit of a diagonal. I'm after putting it as a straight line now, yeah. So rather than this being a break and a back test, which it was playing out yesterday, I put this as the level, yeah. And you can see on the 4 hour, as I said, it's coming up to about 31.80 or so. You can see it's coming up to touch off the 20 EMA. May not get there, but again, if it starts breaking this and getting above it, it looks like we have our turn and it's going to head up, yeah. So that's the argument for the pump. And if it does get up here, there's a lot more of the EMAs on the daily get above. The 5 and 10s start to get above price action that could give it that lift and turn what looks like an absolute spill into a lift. It could definitely do that. So and that's what I'm watching. So we'll see if this is just a bit of a breather. This lift here is just a bit of a breather for continuation down, or it's going to hold that triple bottom. So what am I talking about? Need to see. Let's pull this down now. Need to see price action break 30.52, break this bottom, and then equally, if it's going to spill proper, is come down, and the computer's a bit laggy here, break the 28.69 bottom as well, yeah. At the moment, it's not doing that. Excuse me. So that's what we're looking at. In my short trade, I'm still in it. Is even if this is the bottom, I'd still be looking for a 1-2. So when this does its 1-2, I will be looking to see whether this will come down and start to break this, or again come down a small amount, close to it, turn around, start heading back up, and I'll come out of my short. I'll come out of my short if it's just going to do a 1-2. So I've just been a little bit patient to see how that plays out, yeah. And if that's the case, I'll swing around and I'll head up on my long, yeah. With regards, I'll show you that chart. Sorry, there's a lot on that page. This one, there we go. I'll use this one for now, yeah. With the channels, is you can see the red descending channels here, yeah. You can see the way it's moved: touch, breakthrough, touch, up to the top again, bounces here, comes up, nearly touches, and we're back at the bottom of the red channel here. Equally with the ascending blue channel, you can see top, bottom, top, very close to the bottom, top, and then bottom again. So again, you could make an argument that we're heading back up and again hitting the top of the red channel here, which again is 34.90, 34.80 by the time it gets there. And again, that will be setting up a W as well, yeah. But again, it's all about what's going on here and how it's going to behave, yeah. And then the last thing I'm going to do, because it's fairly self-explanatory, is just have a look at the MAs since the turn of the day, yeah. Excuse me. So on the turn of the day, the VWAP at the start of the day was down. Because of this lift, the VWAP is now after turning. So now this is a good indication for a lift. Yeah, it may come a cropper when it hits the 5 at 32.24. If it gets that far, I'm not sure whether it will. Yeah. So the turn of the day there, that the VWAP turn on there is significant. Yeah. Let me just see the 2-day turned as well. And the VWAP on the 2-day is chosen to stay down. The Bollinger on that is 30.10. What's the Bollinger on the daily? Is 30.47. Okay. The 3-day turned as well. And again, there's 30.23. Again, you can see the 5 on the dailies are well within the range. Are well within the range of applying pressure down, yeah. But equally, if price action got above them, it starts to turn all these, and that's a really strong sign for a pump, yeah. Here's the 4-day. Look at the spill on the 4-day, yeah. And again, the 5 is down at 32.46. Is if price action start getting up to 34.90, it gets above these, and then these begin to turn again in a couple of days. And then you've got a lovely turn up, and we could be in for a massive pump. That's if it gets up. That's the challenge, yeah. Okay, so let me zoom into the 12-hour, because the 12-hour, there's the 12-hour, the 5 getting broken a little bit, a fair bit actually. And the 20 on the 12-hour is 32.71. Again, that was the range that I was talking about, where it's a center line through this local price action here. Yeah, is getting above the 20 on the 12-hour, the 32.70 range, 32.80 range, getting above that and establishing it as a foundation is a solid indication of the pump as well. If I go back to this, and I was having this conversation with Mahela there just a little while ago, yeah, is the here we go, is the 30 to 0382. Again, this is at 32.50. Is if price action gets above this and sets it up as support, it's giving it that lift. Equally, getting above the 05 at 33.64 is setting up either one of these as support. Is really beginning to get the power into the triple bottom, yeah. So that's one of the things that I'll be watching out for as well. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in now to the 4-hour. Just having a little flick through the other hours. There's the 10. Here's the 10 MA on the 10-hour, again at 32. There's 9. There's the 8. Just a quick, you can see they're all very similar with the 10 MA is very close to being challenged. Here in the 6-hour, there's the 10 MA. Look at the 5 and the VWAP underneath, and it's challenging the medial line as well, yeah. So there's definitely a strong push here. You can see here on the 4-hour, is you can see, look, the 5, the 10, the VWAP here, there's the medial line. Here's the 20 EMA and the 20 MA. Definitely this is if it starts getting past this, we could be looking at a proper pump, yeah. Now, one of the things I'm also noticing is that you can see this. You can see in this drop here, you get this initial lift first, and then it comes back down. There's a 1-2, and then it starts to head up. Yeah, it did the same thing here, but then it came down for a deeper drop. So this is like a double top first drop, where this here is I suppose you could call that a double top as well, and first drop. So it's possible that we'll get a spike through here. you know, and then we'll come down and do our 1-2 on the way up, yeah. Or if we get this and it comes down more and we start to break this bottom, is again leaves the door open for it to spill. So we'll see. And then I've also noticed as well that look, the finally the stock RSI is starting to come up. So now once this starts to come up, is the lift. You can see the consolidation here. Is the effort to get the lift up is happening here. By the time it breaks the line here, most of the lift is done. So when it's coming up like this, it isn't necessarily that there's going to be a big power move that comes with it. The effort is to turn it and get it to lift, yeah. So this literally could go sideways, could lift here, and while this is getting back to the top, this just sort of goes sideways a little bit, and turns back down. That's pretty much what it might do, yeah. But again, we'll see. The fact is this could be an argument for the down. Is you can see the lift here. You can see it starting to break and lift. Excuse me. If this is as far as it gets, and this gets back to the top, yeah, I gotta be careful what I say here, because look here. Look, it got back to the top here with this. So that's the point I'm making, yeah. But then look, it dropped down here, and then it went and did another lift. So let me. This is the challenge when, if I'm talking about the 15-minute or the hour, is what I was saying would be a little bit more corrected, that they don't last as long. But on the 4 hour is I'm going to correct myself here. In the 4 hour, this could come to the top, drop back to here, excuse me, and stay in the top, and definitely come up and do the 30, 34, 35, yeah. So yeah, so what I was expecting, it might still be it, but I'm not so sure now. Is you can see the drop here, because I said it to you yesterday. You see the drop here, and then it does a lift and does a deeper drop. Excuse me, and it creates a bullish divergence, because the RSI comes back up, doesn't go down as far, but you get a much bigger drop on price action. Equally, it was the same thing here. So look, the RSI here, yeah. Equally, you get price action here, you get the bottom here. No, sorry, I'm confusing these. The stock RSI. My apologies. Because look, the stock RSI bottoms here. There's price action. It comes back up a little bit, and then it drops, and while price action goes lower, the stock doesn't. Yeah. Excuse me. So now my question is that are we potentially going to get something here like this? Is the stock is coming up? Is if we get a deeper drop down, but yet the stock doesn't come down as far? Yeah. Yeah. You can hear me. I don't sound so confident as I did yesterday about that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. If I zoom in to the 3 hour, again you can see the stock is coming up. There's the 20 MA and EMA is being challenged. Equally, the Bollinger is being challenged here. Yeah. If it was to come back down and do a 1-2, is one of the targets I'd be looking for, is the bottom of this Bollinger again at 30.92 or so. Yeah. Let's have a look and see what the 2 hour is doing. There's the 2 hour. Look, the 20 EMA is getting broken. There's the 55 up at 32.27. So yeah, a real push through. Just give me 1 sec. I need to adjust something on. Just just want to adjust something on my trade, yeah. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. I adjusted it on my phone. So now this is where we're talking about potentially a topping out here, coming down for a correction. Is you can see the hourly RSI is coming to the top here. Equally, the stock RSI, you can see it well at the top here. Yeah. If I zoom in to the 15-minute, again you can see the 15-minute in the over bought here. Equally the same with the stock here. So it looks like it could do a little breather. Same with the 5. Yeah. Okay. So now the last thing I'm going to point out is I'm going to have a look at the EMAs. Okay. So the 5-minute here, and I'm looking at this to look at is there a turn, is there a possible topping out here and a drop back down, yeah, because the 5 broke here. You can see the pump up, yeah, and again this potentially looks like a little bit of a blow off top here. Equally, the 15 broke, so the 15 broke here as well, yeah. Excuse me. And it's looking like it's going. It's looking like it's going, isn't it, Mahela?
Yeah.
It broke.
It is also the blow off top. So that one there is an impulse on the 15-minute.
It is, yeah.
And it will need a correction.
It will need a correction, yeah. Yeah.
But the VWAP is going with it, so the correction probably will be to the VWAP, if you ask me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking that it might top out here, but it clearly broke through it. Yeah. You can definitely see a bit of a pump in it. So now, you reckon it's going to come back to this?
Yeah. Or that support and resistance line there, where you know the flat one.
Yeah. XRP does love at 7860. Yeah, coming back to the VWAP will be 31.30 or so. We'll see. We'll see what it wants to do, but you can definitely see there's a move away. Let me again. I know I said do one last thing. Let me have a look at the MAs. The MAs here. Back on the 5-minute. Yeah. What I'm looking for is to see the 5 here begin to move far enough away from the other MAs that you can see it's starting to get exhausted. Yeah. So it's not too far away on the 5-minute, but you can see this. When you start to see this action here, you start to see it breaking down like this. You can see this is setting up for spill mode. Yeah. Where it can spill. But does the 15 give us something similar? Again, you can see the 5 starting to move away, but again, the 10's not too far behind. But again, it's that same spill mode when you start to see this jagged steps, and it's going into the overbought. Yeah, it's setting itself up for a spill. So if it is going to go up much more, it won't be much more. Yeah. Just a quick look on a half hour. And you see this is where you start to see the blow off top on the half hour, and the 5 is potentially, the 5 looks like it's too far away to sustain. Yeah. So that now it is 11:01, and it looks like we've had our blow off top. Let's have a quick look at the hour, because the hour turned again. To be honest, on the hour, the 5 there is in a reasonable position for pressure here. Yeah, but I do think it needs to take a breather. but it might not. It might not. The 2 hour turned as well. Sorry, let me go back to the hour for a second. Again, look at the RSI here. It's topped out. The RSI is topped out. Now, interestingly, look at the last time the RSI topped out. Is all this space here is the RSI and the hour. For all this space here, the RSI and the hour couldn't get to the top. So now is we could be in for something like this, which will give us the pump to 35. Is we've got to see, or equally, again, it's the same thing. It's taking a breather for the drop back down. It's very much right on the space of it could go either way, and whichever way it goes, I believe we're probably going to have our answer to the breakout. So that's why I'm sort of slowing down here and spending more time just having a closer look at what's going on here. Yeah. Again, you can see the stock on the 2 hour topping out. But the RSI here still has space to go. Here's the 3 hour lifting. Got a sharp lift in the 3 hour. And then 4 hour. And look how much. See what I was saying about the lift? Look at this lift here. And this was just slightly above this. Slightly above this. Maybe make this a little bigger. This had slightly broken this. And then at 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock my time, is the 4 hour turned. Now look how much on one turn of the 4 hour. Look how much this is back. This here is halfway, above halfway up. So you can imagine on the next 4 hour it'll be up here. So and it doesn't necessarily have to keep pumping for this to come up. So this is what I was saying earlier on. Yeah, is we could be seeing this sharp move here, and then we get the double bottom, and then we head on up. And if we get this, I believe it's a strong indication for the pump. We're going to pump up. And what we would need to do is get ourselves up to price action up to around 34.5 or so, come back down and bounce off 33.80, 33.70, and then turn around and then we might have to break off the proper volume pump there. Yeah. So equally is we got to see if this is just a breather and it decides it wants to drop. So that's it. So that's really what I have to say is watch this closely. Watch to see where it comes down, what it breaks or doesn't break. And then equally, if it does a double bottom, I believe it's a nice opportunity for a long up to 34.5, and it should hit that target pretty sweetly. Yeah. Okay, so I know I went on for a bit longer than I anticipated there, but yeah. Price action starts to move in front of me. Mm. Okay, so that's it. I'll hand you over to Mihaela.
Good morning, everyone. Let's see where we are today. I will start with Bitcoin. I was in a Bitcoin short yesterday waiting for my 18,700 target. But I think we've just done a huge retrace for that. Last night when we triple bottomed out here, I took my profit. It looks to me like it's done an impulse up and back tested back. It's not a long-term support and resistance line, but as you can see here, there would be a central line in this sort of like intermediate triangle. To be honest, Bitcoin looks more like set for a correction than XRP. So on the 15-minute, it's got its rejections here in the shape of the what do you call them, wicks, in the shape of the wicks. It's also maxed out in terms of stochastic and regular RSI.
You reckon that's going to break the bottom there when it comes down?
I'm not so sure. I have two scenarios. So the first one would be coming back here and doing a higher low here, because as things stand at the moment, we don't have a higher low. So at the moment, this looks more like a V-shaped recovery. I know this looks like a double bottom, but on the hour, it's more of a V. But it depends on what happens at this line, the 19,500, because we can go. I take it back, guys. I have three scenarios. It's a morning with a lot of scenarios. So it can go back test this line, do a correction of this impulse, and then head up. And if
do you want to make the screen slightly bigger?
Yes, just a second. And if it heads up, then it has this line to break through. Now, if this line breaks, then I don't think we're going any lower. So if the 20,000, yesterday it was 20,200, I believe. This one, yeah, 20,200. Now, if this yellow line breaks, the white line will probably break as well. And if these two break, I don't think the down scenario will be an option. The down scenario holds as long as we hold below the yellow line. The yellow line can be back tested as it was here, but then it built up some momentum for a retrace. It's not maxed out yet on the regular RSI. On the 1 hour, that still has space to go. So we might see it even backtest this line, come back down. We're getting into a smaller, tighter space. So now I will be sitting out and watching to see what's happening. I'll be watching to see what's happening to this line. I'll be watching to what's happening to this line, because again, it can be both a bear and a bull trap. So a bear trap because it keeps people in the shorts here and thinking, oh, we're going to come down. A bull trap because of the momentum and the lift. After all of this drop, there it is. It looks like a double bottom. It looks like it's breaking up above the previous support. So it might come up and then another pull down. So I'm sitting out waiting for confirmation here to see what's happening to these levels. I'm going to look at the MAs for the moment. I think the MAs are again on the shorter time frames. They might be looking a lot more bullish. On the bigger time frame, the 5 is still pushing down. On the daily, it hasn't reached a 5. We don't have any major support on the daily. On the 4 hour, we've got above the 5, and we are now testing the 10. The 4 hour just started, and here it is at the 10. Now, this can, this can be the make or break of this. Here, it tested the 10 and it dropped down. Here, will it test the 10 and get above it? Again, the confluence between what support it finds on the MAs and what support it finds on the trend lines is really irrelevant. In terms of our trade setup, here this trade here to the 18,800 could still be in play. So this could still be it. But if things like that happen I'm going to talk about it on Thursday. So if such strong reversal structures like the double bottoms or the triple bottoms on the 1 hour happen, I suggest taking profit and then waiting to see what plays out. So this trade can still be it. It can still work between these two levels on its way downwards, or if it gets above it, as we set up the trades on Monday, we might see a lift. I'm going to move this line because the MA moved to the 50 MA on the 4 hour. So that's where XRP is, right? XRP made a much more violent move to that.
Remember on the 4 hours talking about if coming up to the 20 EMA on the 4 hour.
Yeah.
It wicked to it now, and there's a strong rejection of it at the moment.
Yeah, very good, very good.
I think the decider is for XRP is the 20 EMA and 20 MA on the 4 hour. If it breaks above that, we're definitely heading up.
Yeah, I think for Bitcoin it would be the 10 and then the 5 turning up to cross over the 10. So that would be
on what time frame?
on the 4 hour.
On the 4 hour.
On the 4 hour.
Okay.
Based on the anatomy of how this swing looks, because the 10 was the one pushing it down. The 10 was the divergence line. We are above the divergence line on the 4 hour as well, so we need to see break downwards. We see it break downwards. We see again on the smaller time frame this line break again. Then again we are in for a short, and this time we're coming up with some with a breather from the 4 hour and the 1 hour RSIs, which have a little bit of space to go downwards now. Let's see Ethereum. Ethereum is again just like Bitcoin. It hasn't yet. Like I find this to be a little bit. It's not impossible to see that, but when it comes so close to the Bollinger Band, it generally wicks to it, as it did here. We haven't yet wicked to it. Maybe we will do so today, and that would have been the next level of support and resistance. Now Ethereum has this. Nice back testing, how can I say, way of moving. So here it back tested twice the previous support and resistance. It made a drop to the next one. Here it back tested once. Maybe this is another attempt to back test it, and now it's looking like it's gonna head down towards this line, and it might touch the Bollinger. Again, Ethereum is looking a lot less bullish than both XRP and Bitcoin. Maybe again Ethereum will give us a clue as to what's going to happen, because it hasn't gone. It's the one that has made the smallest move. It hasn't gone above the previous support and resistance.
I think that one of the differences about the price action where it is now is you can see the 3 bottoms. When the first bottom happened, is you didn't have the weeklies applying so much pressure. Is now you have the weeklies because of the turn. You've got the week, 1 week, 2 week, and 3 week. All have their 5 MAs applying pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't there as strongly when this drop happened.
Yeah.
So it with regards to the hours getting underneath and getting a scoop.
Mm-hmm.
It would need more of the dailies to get the 5 to turn.
Yeah.
The 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 day. You would need enough of those. It's not just getting the 1 day to turn. I think you'd need multiple days to turn. To break the pressure of the weeklies coming down.
Yeah.
The weeklies coming down are fully involved now, more so than they were 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what makes this different, and you can see where twice it got above the 20 MA on the daily, and on previous patterns, once it got above the 20 EMA in the daily and it established itself. Normally you get one test, it may fail. The second time it gets above it, it breaks up.
Yes.
It failed twice.
Yeah.
And already.
Yeah. Well, that can be turned around, because sometimes, when it tests a resistance line, that resistance line can hold for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it gets up to an XRP, if it gets up to 34, 35,
mm-hmm.
it gets enough of the 5 MAs on the dailies underneath.
Yeah.
That if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day, with all of their 5s turned, it can break the greater push down from the
weeklies. Yeah, and absolutely.
And that's the breaking of the bottom.
Yeah.
So.
And that's when the 20 on the daily would break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it would have enough immediate support. Anyways, yes. So zooming out again. I love 4-hour patterns and the 4-hour spaces in terms of where this is going in moments like this. This was the 4-hour wedge. We have broken out of the 4-hour wedge. Technically, we are still on our way down, and I've taken a very conservative target in the middle of it, and I put it here at the breakout point, and that's 800. So again, that might not happen. An $800 Ethereum might not happen this week. That would be around a double bottom. That would be a double bottom situation for Ethereum. That might not happen this week. It might take a couple of weeks for this to a couple of weeks. Sorry, guys. It might take a week, 10 days. It might take a couple of swings for this trade to complete this target. But what I'm seeing is no retrace on the 4 hour. So we're still outside of this structure. We're still outside of this wedge. So until we see the, again, 1118, 1120 line being broken, which is the 20 EMA on the 4 hour. When we see that being broken and turned into support, then we know this was a fake out from this 4 hour structure, and we're heading up. We're gonna retest the top line, because that's how it goes, bottom to top, top to bottom. We're gonna test the top line, and if the top line breaks, happy days, the next target would be somewhere around 1500. So it would be a super juicy pump.
When that happens.
When it happens, yes, yes. So for today's trade setup, I am watching again. I'm watching to see. I will be watching for another possible short entry here, breaking, but on confirmation, breaking this trend line, or rejection here at the top line. So rejection here at the top line coming down. With that momentum means we're probably going to break down. If we're breaking down from here, again, it's my confirmation that this trend line still holds, and we're coming down for some more. I'm still, for that reason, because my entry in XRP was better, I kept my XRP short, so I'm still in an XRP short, thinking it's going to do exactly this move. For Ethereum, I would say this rejection here, if it holds, if the stochastic makes an effort to push down. Let me just check the 15 minute. Yeah, the stochastic is definitely making an effort to push down. I'd like to see this in this box here, and I'd like to see more momentum downwards. But it looks like let's put a divergence line. When this local divergence line breaks, I think we're in for the next level. And again, be careful about targets. If you see it coming very close to your target, like last night it was my target was 1022, and it came as close as 1031. So if you see it coming super close to the target and having a double bottom structure on the 1 hour, take your profits, take them, and then in the morning, you'll see what happens. There'll be some movement either up or down, and then you can make another decision. So have a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your trading. I'll post everything I'll post the updates on the chats, and best of luck.
Super. Thanks, Michaela.
You're very welcome. Do you guys have any questions?